All right, Neelesh.
What's up?
This guy. He is, should I say, a newcomer into the podcast space with
Absolutely.
the Nurture Network.
Yeah.
Give a big shout out to the Nurture Network. If you're not listening to that, I'd definitely tune in. He works in sales for a tech consulting company.
Yep.
Very young, younger than me. I think I need to try and find people a bit more my age. I'm not gonna lie, 'cause they're kind of putting me to shame right now with the stuff that they're doing. No, we don't shame over here. It's all good. It's all good. He's also a dancer as well. My man's got moves. He's got his hips don't lie out here. We love to see it. We love to see it. But big up my guy. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to bring through as an introduction right now?
Nah, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me onto the pod, because it's my first guest podcast. Yeah. And my first time in the studio, so it's really interesting for me. It's a cool experience. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm loving what you're doing, by the way. So
it's all good.
It's great to meet you.
Nah, man, pleasure as well on my end. Quite gassed to have you in here, purely based on the fact that I think it was just a random Instagram following on the both of us, and I appreciate you engaging with my content, and I saw what you were doing. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me bring him through. Let's have a chat. Let's see what happens. And let's see if he's down to get unfiltered about some of the things that possibly have happened to him in his life and how he possibly could help other people too. So,
absolutely.
Bro, what do you want to talk about today?
There are a few things, to be fair. I've listened to a couple of your episodes, and I really like the concept of getting unfiltered. And I haven't really had the opportunity to do this myself, but you know, as you mentioned, I'm pretty new to the podcast game myself, and talking about that experience and actually taking the leap is something perhaps I'd like to tap into, because I know like a lot of people probably have the idea to do it. I'm sure it's something that you went through your mind as well. Like there's so many people who've got great ideas out there, and never kind of take that step. So unpacking that, what's required to kind of just, start from a mindset perspective, and then I guess we'll just see where the conversation flows from there. I think it's good to not have like too much of an agenda, but
for sure. No, so I think one of the in our previous chats, one of the things that you said was talking about having individuals or trying to help them find a way of pursuing possibly the things they put aside just based on stereotype, culture, commitments, etc., and how you should still try and go after what really gasses you up, what really gives you that spark, that energy, right? Talk to me about like why is that important to you?
For sure. I think it's really kind of self-realization in the last couple of years, really.
Yeah.
I would say for the last 3 years after graduating from university, I've dedicated all of my life since then to working my corporate job and trying to kind of grind it out for as long as possible, and to the best of my ability. But very quickly you start to realize that, there's a lot more to life than just your job. You don't want to get to the time, you're old and realize that all you've done is follow the, traditional narrative of just working your way through the...
It's a bit like me right now.
No, man.
Throwing shade already.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is absolutely not. You got your passion project with Unfiltered.
I'm messing.
And I guess that's kind of what motivated me to start. Okay, I had lots of interests. I'm a dancer on the side. I love talking about personal development, and I felt most inspired when I had conversations about people, pursuing the things they've wanted to, anything. So that's the reason why I've started the Nurture Network podcast, to give that feeling to others, for them to really kind of start going and doing the things that they'd like to do. And it doesn't have to be something, massive. Yeah. It's something that they're passionate about, that they want to try. It could just be starting a newsletter or anything, right? But they're just nervous because they have that lack of self-belief, or they're fearing judgment.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of why I've started to do more things, I would say. That's just being more out there, exploring more things, and being more curious.
So let me grill you a little bit then, just because I like doing that when someone brings a kind of like topic like this up.
Yeah.
You're 24?
Indeed.
Okay, cool. Very young. Very young. Arsehole. Nah, jokes aside. Came out of uni, a couple of years ago. You've been working and like you've obviously started up the podcast right now. You said you're a dancer on the side. What is your passion?
Yeah. It's a good question. It's a good question. And, you know, the answer is I have several passions. To put it really simply, is my passion is to, of course, I have my personal passion like dance, but when it comes to helping people and helping people unlock their potential and seeing people thrive, seeing people do well is something that I love, and knowing that I've had somewhat of an impact to let them begin that journey is what makes me, passionate.
I get the same buzz from coaching, so 100%, and agree with you on that front. Like even with doing this podcast, now we've got a camera involved. Fantastic. It's like small baby steps, but it's again giving people a platform to talk about the shit that's going on behind the scenes, stuff they want to get unfiltered about. Genuinely trying to help people the best way I can. Not necessarily take that big leap of faith, but even if it's just small steps. So I'm with you on that front. But I feel there's a little bit of cloudiness around what you've just said right now, okay? Dance is your personal passion. But then you also like helping people. Seeing the moves, all right, the choreography, I presume the amount of effort you've gone into with some of the videos that you've done right now within dance. You enjoy that a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my probably favorite hobby.
Hobby? If you could get paid to do dance, would you take it in a heartbeat?
Absolutely. 100% if I had the opportunities.
Would you dance or podcast?
Both.
If you could do one or the other?
One or the other? Oh, come on. That's a tough question, man. I'd dance on the podcast.
Yeah?
That'd be my option. There you go.
There you go.
You got to be creative. No, it's seriously, I think if I had to choose one, I would find a way of combining both, because I mean, look, listen, the podcast game, I'm early in that right now, but it's something that I'm really enjoying right now. I've always enjoyed listening to podcasts.
I'm not disputing that, but is that like an escape to not give dance?
No, I think no. I mean, look, dancing, there are still ways. I mean, I have actually been paid to dance before.
Sick.
A couple of performances here and there. So I think I would keep it at that in terms of actually traveling around the world and dancing, for artists and whatnot. Sure, if I had the opportunity, but it's not something that I'm really, personally driven to pursue.
Because?
There are, I think, other interests that I would prioritize higher than that.
So I'm gonna call bullshit and say, is it interest or fears?
Interest.
Chris Brown right now, if Breezy said, look, cool, come join me on my tour.
Oh yeah, of course. I think that's it
for the year.
That's okay. If it's like, okay, that's a good question.
We talked about salaries on the way here. Like, you like the gross. You don't like the tax that comes with the gross, right? What if the gross was doubled, or that was the net, or tripled, whatever figure it had to be?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie. Of course, I would say I'm not afraid to say that money's a big driver for me.
Of course, as it should.
But at the same time, it's a lot to unpack in that question. It means dropping my career that I have today, which I enjoy.
That's fair.
I really enjoy. It means sacrificing, things that I've been working on, like the pod.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be more difficult to do that, but at the same time, I see opportunity in perhaps doing that tour. But I'm not it's not like a decision I would take very, very easily.
Oh, no, of course. It's the only reason why I'm asking that is because, albeit I love what you're saying you're doing, and someone could challenge me right now and say the exact same thing. Pretty, why aren't you coaching full time? Why aren't you podcasting full time? Why aren't you combining the two? Why are you still working? And there are other elements that come into play in regards to what you want right now, and it's the only reason why I was asking that is purely based on the fact of, if we want to try and pursue the things that we really love, there comes a point where we have to start thinking about how badly do we really want it?
True.
And so I feel like with what you're saying in terms of trying to help people discover that passion, what I've realized is someone will say to me they want to lose weight. And we can talk about like a fitness program, etc. And I ain't a PT, so I ain't got a skill set to even help you on that front. I've got the drive to help get you to do the things in the gym, but I ain't got a clue. But how badly do you want it? Is this something you just want short term? Is it a long term thing? Are we building habits so that once we stop working together, you're still going to keep that momentum and never need to reach out to me to restart that process again? Like, what is it? And what you're saying right now, it gets me thinking that you love dancing. You'd jump at the opportunity, but then would think, oh shit, what about the podcast? What about work? But if you really loved it, you wouldn't think twice. If someone said to me right now, Pri, I am guaranteeing you are going to get your salary right now, if not doubled, by coaching. Whatever hours you're doing in coaching, you can keep it the same. It's just going to work. You're not going to have to stress about the 9 to 5 like you were in terms of 35 to 40 hours a week. You're going to do whatever you got to do through coaching. You're going to find the time to do the podcast. Whatever income you are on, you're going to get that, even a little bit more if it makes you feel a little bit better by just doing that full time. Would you sack that off in a heartbeat? And that's not to say that I don't enjoy working in finance and I haven't enjoyed the progress to get to where I am through university, my ACA. But the truth is that financial concept there gets me thinking, it's a safety blanket. It's because I don't think I am mentally ready to take that plunge. I did it in COVID and I loved it. But I also realized there was a lot of things I needed to work on because I easily procrastinated, got distracted, was at the golf course 4 times a week. And bro, you're not going to be making money on the golf course. You're fucking spending 4 to 5 hours hacking the ball around.
Unless you're closing deals with prospects.
Exactly, and then you come back, you're tired. How are you going to find time to actually coach someone or try and market and build a business?
For sure.
It doesn't make sense.
For sure.
But if someone said to me, look, I'm going to give you this avenue, I'm going to invest in you, whatever it is, we're going to get you there. Don't worry about the finances. I'd jump on it quite easily. I wouldn't even have to think twice.
No, I hear you. But how often do opportunities come like that?
But sometimes you have to make them.
True.
And so if we looked at your schedule of what you're doing on a weekly basis, the hours you're doing at work, let's say you're doing a 9 to 5, slap that in there. How much time is actually really going into building up the podcast? How much time is actually going into the dance? Are we spending more time doing the dance because it's a distraction to not do the podcast? Or the other way around? Are we trying to build the podcast because it's like, I don't really want to put myself out there to train for this new routine or whatever it is, or go and ask someone I've seen on Instagram who does professional dance and you heard of the Boliko? All right, okay, cool. So I went to one of their shows and I follow Neelesh, and what she's doing is mad. I've seen her doing some stuff with Adidas and everything. It's mad. And there's a few of the other dancers that are in there that I got to know. Incredible, some of the stuff they're doing. I think she was even in something with Marvel or on Disney.
Potentially. I'm not too sure.
I can't remember the show or the film, The Essentials. Maybe. I don't know. But there was an Indian dance scene or something like that. And I think she helped choreograph.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I'm not going to butcher it because hopefully I can bring her on the show one day and we can talk about it. But following her passion. Now, I know she's got a young daughter and she's got everything else going on, but that drive is different. That's different gravy. That's not Bisto. Yeah, that's some good shit she's got going on. I love that. The hunger is real. And I'm sometimes we can possibly settle down into doing or saying, I really love my job. Yeah, but do you really?
Oh, 100%. 100% hear that a lot. It's,
So do you really?
with dancing, like I say, I think with dancing personally, it makes me happy. It's an activity that really makes me happy. If nothing comes from it, it will not affect me in the slightest. Right?
What makes you happier?
That's lots of things, you know. I wouldn't say happier. Dance is one of the things that makes me the happiest, but I don't have any monetary attachment to it.
But if there was,
if there was, of course, you're going to try and
don't even try. It's a guarantee.
yeah. It's honestly, it's a really difficult question to answer.
Why is it difficult?
Because I feel like there are so many things I would like to try. You know what? Here's a simple way of answering it.
Yep.
If I got the opportunity, I would take it.
Yeah.
I would take it because at least then I've experienced it.
Exactly that.
That's the easiest way. I would. Okay, if it means sacrificing. I think I'm at a stage in my career now that I've got enough experience that I'd be able to go and find something else.
Yeah.
If something didn't work out.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm glad you asked me this question because it kind of makes me reflect of what my purpose is in helping people realize what they want to do.
Yeah.
So if that opportunity did come to me, I would say, yes, I'm going to take the opportunity because something really good could come from it,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of fulfillment, you're making a living, etc. The other good thing is that if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. At least you have something. I have something.
Yeah.
And other passion projects, whether it be the podcast or my job as well,
Yeah.
which I'm fortunate to actually enjoy, to go back to.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Priyesh, man. that was insightful, honestly.
And it might sound contradictory because obviously, like, I had a chat with Late Afternoon Thoughts, Shilpa. We were talking about like how it's not easy. Some people actually love their 9 to 5, or behind the scenes they can't just quit that because they have family commitments and.
Yep.
Based on their upbringing, like, or however their family situation is, they are the breadwinner in the household.
Yes.
And they're still the kid, but it's
Of course.
just, unfortunately, sacrifices were made when they were younger to give them the best education, etc., etc., etc. So there's a story behind it. So I can appreciate sometimes it's not
Oh, of course.
the easy thing to do, but
not bread and butter.
If you could,
Yeah.
the question I want to throw out is why don't you, or how could you get one step closer to that? And I feel like with what you've just said right now, and especially with how you want to try and help people realize that. If I was to try and help you, I'd ask you, well, if you love dancing that much, you just said you've done a few gigs. Why isn't it penned in your diary to do more, to get a real better feel for it?
Then it's about maybe asking myself the question, you know, I love dance, but do I love dance enough to want to actually monetize it? Is it something that I'm actively... Is it a burning desire for me to go out there and do something about it?
I feel like you're scared.
No. No.
I generally feel, because the question is now that is there a burning desire? I think if you look at your videos of you dancing, you possibly get quite excited and gassed with yourself, like that looks quite sick, that looks quite cool, and you possibly enjoy the whole process. Like the videos are shaking and everything and whatever it is, like you've got the effects going on, you're with the rhythm, you're dancing not by yourself but with people as well, like there's a real vibe towards it. Turn that ever so sideways now, like the question is, could I monetize it? You haven't thought about it. Your fear right now is whether or not how can this remain and be successful? How can I keep, you're thinking we're possibly too far ahead in regards to what could be. I'm just asking you right now, like if dance was an option, if Chris Brown, I don't think Drake does dances, Usher, whoever you listen to, you even like the Bollywood and the Asian kind of style, like if you were guaranteed a career could last within it, I'm not saying it'd be a 9 to 5, 35 hours, it could be less, it could just be contracts you do and you have time to fill with if that was a possible outcome of life, would that be something you'd want to experience for like the next 5 years?
Listen, I think this is something, you know, maybe when I was younger, like I thought about the idea of doing that, and how sustainable it is. And I think this is what kind of where, and it might sound funny to some of the viewers, but having maybe South Asian or Indian background, especially being the first in the family, where maybe kind of creative pursuits of things were not really kind of advocated, not advocated.
I hear you. I'm going to challenge you ever so more on that, because it just got me thinking.
Yeah.
Hollywood is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's huge. And we're out here saying that they don't advocate like the creative side of things. But like, I don't know about like Shah Rukh Khan and all of that family lifestyle that he possibly went through, but it seems big, and it seemed like they've got enough extras. New actors and dancers are coming up. I haven't heard of half of these people that people just throw my way.
Yeah.
And it's like, clearly in India, especially with the population being bigger, we shouldn't really just focus in on India itself, but within the South Asian community, there could be an argument that there is a little push towards being creative. Maybe on our side of the world, it's maybe less.
Maybe on this
highlighted.
side, yes. It depends on the situation. A lot of when you see immigrant families, and not just South Asian, Indian sort of diaspora, but when you have immigrant families who have moved to the Western world and have had to kind of work their way up to build a family, build something for themselves, the general kind of not unwritten rule, I would say, but what's advocated is to try and find something where you're more guaranteed to essentially live a stable life.
I was just going to say the word stability.
That's kind of exactly that. And not to say my parents have been super supportive with everything I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's something in my own head where I've said, actually, I don't know if I'd be able to go and pursue that route, because I don't know what they're going to think. And because I'm the first kid as well, like I need to kind of,
Oh, for sure.
get down there. But now I actually see that with my younger siblings, how the school system's changed drastically. There are a lot more people pursuing creative careers and doing the things that they want, or trying to do the things that they want.
Sure,
and
for sure.
I can see a difference in the way my parents speak to my little brother and my little sister compared to how maybe they spoke to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously times are changing, but it just gets me thinking, like, it was very mad that you dropped it with the creative space, because I'm just thinking, bro, Bollywood is fucking massive. That doesn't make any sense.
It's so true.
It's a fuckery in itself. It's like,
yeah.
actors are getting churned out left, right, and center. Some of them are not even like disappearing; they're still there. And it's like Shah Rukh Khan I don't know how big he's looking right now. And one of his latest films, I saw something about like he's stupidly ripped. He shouldn't be that. Like that. And it's like, but yo, we could go through the films left, right, and center. There's lists, and then you've got the talk shows.
Yeah.
And you've got the series.
Yeah.
The dramatic series where you get slapped 5 times.
Oh, God.
And you see it from every different angle.
With the sound effects in the background.
It's clearly there is a market, and now in your head you're possibly thinking, am I good enough to do that? Or maybe that might not be your forte, doing something like that.
No, I haven't really thought about doing it. I think Priyesh, like honestly being, truly unfiltered, dance is something I'm, really passionate about. It makes me happy. I don't think I've really kind of put myself out there I've never really been too bothered about pursuing something from a being in a film or going and dancing, monetizing it somehow. It's something I love to do outside work because it lets me escape. It's almost like someone the way I would compare it for me, and not everything needs to be like a project where you have to go and you can just enjoy things for the things, because you like it. It's like, for me, it's like people who love gaming after work.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like golf for me.
So I just, for me, it's like, so if I ask you the question, do you want to be a golfer, Priyesh?
For sure.
you know what I mean?
I've seen this. I've watched a recent series on Netflix, Full Swing, absolutely mad. The
Oh
money they
yeah,
make,
I need to watch
it's
that.
nuts, but there is a craft behind it. And I picked up the game possibly like 2 years ago properly, and I just enjoy the competitiveness that the sport brings. Football is a different story. I wish if I was younger and I got taken down a route where I could do tryouts and really giving it a go. The way I haven't played football and I haven't kicked ball in a while now, but the way I read the game, the way I watch games, it's like,
Could you have done it?
I don't know if I could have done it like Premier League, but I would have loved to have given it a go just to see what could happen. But on the back end of like, you asked me that question with coaching and podcasting, not necessarily being an influencer, but like those two combined. I tried it and I looked at the realization of, if I want financial freedom and being able to move out, you need a mortgage. To get a mortgage, you need these are the steps in place. If you're doing it self-employed versus if you're employed. If I want to start a family in the near future, is this financial stream going to be supportive enough? Is there a real space for someone who's just come out of a coaching school trying to help people? Like, is there a big enough demand for it? Is there steps that need to be taken? Is it affordable? I can't be saying I want to be doing it for a certain price just to please everyone, you know? Like, it doesn't work that way. It's my time as well.
Yeah.
How does that work with the rest of my routine? So I've definitely given it a lot of thought, and I'm thinking in the future it's possibly an idea I want to explore. But for the time being, I also I enjoy. Do I enjoy a 9 to 5? No, but I enjoy being in an office corporate environment where I can see things differently. And maybe the ideal career route for me later down the line is doing something for a corporate company, but coaching.
Yes.
Working on mental health within the employees.
100%.
Bringing some sort of wellness vibes.
Definitely.
And that could be a different, complete career opportunity. That definitely fulfill me. As long as it gave me time to go still play golf and that, and play football and podcast and coach and do my stuff and on the side, fantastic. But those are opportunities I can seek. So I love the challenge back. Like, why wouldn't you do it? I tried it when I had nothing to lose, and it's more of a case of what's more important to me right now is not necessarily the career fulfillment, but it's more of the personal fulfillment, and that's working towards having my own space, working towards having my own freedom, getting the car of my dreams and stuff like that. Like, it's that's my drive right now, and to get there it requires doing X, Y, and Z. And so I agree with you. The Asian mentality is that stable lifestyle within the Western world. But you don't necessarily have to be.
Yeah. And I think there's ways you can ease your way. You can ease your way into it, like you've just mentioned. You don't necessarily, what a lot of people I see perhaps do wrong is they'll drop everything in one go. And sometimes it works out for people, but more than not, that's just, it's not realistic. And like you've just mentioned, there are ways of easing yourself. Like, the ideal way that you should maybe try and, let's say you've got a job, but you want to try and, pursue whatever your passion project is. In your case, it's coaching. Like you mentioned, there are ways you can try and leverage almost your 9 to 5 job and embed what you're doing on your coaching within the workplace. So yeah, you make a really good point.
It's finding the right companies as well. Like, you're in sales right now for a tech company.
Yeah.
Let's scrap all of that out, and you could do sales for a dance company. Your job role, like you told me when I came to pick you up, was I book meetings, I bring customer and client together. That's the concept of it. You could do that for a dance company, where your client was the say you work for a filming company, a Bollywood filming company as an example. You work in sales, and your role is to go to all of these dancing companies and connect there. Would that be a bit more enjoyable?
But it could be enjoyable. Good thing about sales is that you can make it enjoyable. It's a lot of transferable skills involved. But to be honest, I'd rather be one of the dancers in that scenario there. I'd be one of the dancers in that scenario, or I'd be I'd be the seller, but also get involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, like tech is it's something that I've started to enjoy a lot since.
But is that because you feel like you have to enjoy now?
No, I just think if you think about it,
yeah.
I mean, I love that we're tapping into so many different.
Mate, it goes up a tangent. Everyone comes in with
I love it.
Nope, we just go anywhere.
But with technology, it's very much technology's at the forefront and the background of everything we do today.
Yep.
And we only see the front face of what we're doing, but there's a whole back end process happening. Very simple things like opening an app on your phone, right? We do it so easily. We log into mobile banking, or imagine we go on FaceTime and we're FaceTiming someone from across the world and we can actually speak to them. We don't think about what's going on in the back end actually of actually being able to make that connection and speak to someone in real time in another part of the world. I am fascinated by things like that in technology.
Okay.
So yeah, like I really enjoy what I do, and personally, like right now, I'm in that might change though. That might change later down the line.
But it goes back to like that. The first thing or the idea of what we wanted to talk about today was helping people go after what they really want.
Sure.
I think I wrote down here. You wrote, some people are too scared to think about the consequences of following that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to challenge you in regards to, are you really fearful in regards to the consequences that may arise from doing something you possibly really love and enjoy? Or is it all good doing tech?
No. I would be lying if I said, there are things that I still fear.
Yeah.
100%. I'm not going to, put this front on and say, and I'm doing everything. In fact, this year was only the year I started to take the leap.
Yeah.
With the podcast, for example.
Yeah.
I would be lying if I said I was not nervous to start that. I have no idea if it's going to be a flop. I might only do a few episodes. And the thing is, like, that still might happen.
Yeah.
That still might happen. But what's worse is not giving it a go.
Yeah.
And perhaps never fulfilling something that could have been great.
Well, we spoke about it in the car. Like, you've got a lot of time on your hands, and you mentioned the concept of possibly like wanting to go abroad and all of that stuff. Mate, I think I did it on my latest reel, and I'm not sure when this comes out, but maybe I'll bring it back up, for content and all that. But making every opportunity count. And sometimes I flipped it and said our pride and ego get in the way. But in all honesty, our fears.
Yeah.
And we sometimes are, I like to use the analogy that we've got our blinkers on like a horse race. Like a horse racing right now. To cover everything else out right now, we're just going to look at it in one angle. Yeah, you are fascinated by tech. I am a big advocate of tech. I love tech. I'm a big Apple fan. He's trying to throw it. It's a shout there. Never happening, but you never know one day. But like, it's I'm with you on that front. I am also a big believer with the conversation we've had today. There's something about dance that gets you going, and it might not be the only thing. You look like you're a big boy. You might enjoy the gym too, fitness and health, and there are possibly other things. And it's really sitting with yourself and asking yourself, like, if this year goes by and not much within dance, those opportunities never really got taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Would you look back and said, right, man, I wish I could have done that again?
Exactly.
I look at myself right now and I think, fuck, man. And my sister's out there traveling and I'm like, I really want to do that, but like,
you still can.
I know, of course I can, but I've also realized that part of me wanting to travel at the time, in all honesty, was an escape.
Yeah.
It was me chasing freedom, but it was more on the escape where I need to leave the noise that's here. Whereas right now, I don't need to escape anything.
Sure.
I want to still see the world, but I possibly would like to want to see the world with someone else or with a group of people, or I have a different touch for it, because I feel like I've gone past the stage where I just want to get pissed up at a bar and go nuts and do like I don't feel like that's me. I feel like what would be me would be taking in the sights, possibly doing a meditation or a yoga on a sunset, or if I'm going to get pissed up, have it with a bunch of us or with a partner or something like that. That'd be a very different experience, but still seeing the world in that light.
Sure.
So gone off track on what I'm trying to say, but it's more of like, in life things will change, and I hate it when I speak to people who say they have this passion and purpose, they want to try and do X, Y, and Z, but they don't do everything they can. Not everything they should do, but everything they can with the time that they have available.
Sure.
Because they're fearful.
Yeah, and you have to ask themselves, do you really want that?
Exactly.
Or are you saying
you kind of want it?
You want it. Like, listen, it's a very easy thing to do. Like, I think everyone has said that, said something like that, kind of a bit like, something really extravagant but shallow at the same time, because you don't know. You say it back, okay, how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
You don't need to know all the answers straight away, but ask yourself, do you really want that? So yeah, the people, I think it'd be good if people were more conscious of what they say.
Of course. It's like, I know first and foremost, if I want to coach, I need to make sure I have got accountability on my behalf. I can't coach someone without having some sort of coaching towards me done. So I've invested in coaches. I'm working with a coach right now who not necessarily just helps me towards, like, say, the business professional side of things, but more of the personal side of things that can throw into play, because that can steer us off our goals, etc. Likewise with the podcast, I really love doing this and I really want to keep doing it. I have said to myself, you know what, for it to happen, I'm going to get a studio. I'm going to have to work in a studio for me to really take it to one step further that I'm going to really enjoy. I've invested 6 months into this, which tells me I need to try and find 6 months worth of guests. I have to find, and that was when I first started, I was thinking, oh shit, how's that going to happen? And now I've got people messaging me saying, oh mate, I'd love to come onto the pod.
Yeah.
I'd love to share that story. Like, this would be such a sick conversation. And it's like, well, that's what I wanted before, but for that to happen, I had to make a move.
You had to take that leap.
And like, for all I know, like, I may say to myself, my membership right now, I might try and upgrade it, because fuck having 3, 4, 5 sessions recorded a month. I want to do one every week.
Yeah.
At nights. Fuck Love Island. I don't need to watch that shit. We're going straight for the pod. Like, it's really like finding what you really want, and giving it a go, knowing that you're not waking up in a year's time thinking, fuck, man, I should have done that.
I should have done that. Yeah. No, I really love that from you. And one thing you said there just kind of shows what taking a little leap or even a big leap can do, in terms of you don't clearly see what's on the other side, but afterwards, you said, like, once you invested in, okay, I'm just going to start in the studio. I don't know all the answers. I don't know if I've even got the guests ready, but people started reaching out to you.
Exactly.
You've kind of created that opportunity, and sometimes the universe rewards you in weird ways.
It puts out what you put in.
Yeah.
And like, I would highly recommend people who, when I say younger than me, who have an outlook on things they want to try and pursue, don't wait for that opportunity to disappear. Don't wait for it's too late, where it can't be something you can done. Obviously, you can still work towards things, but even if you look at it from like a health perspective, like, don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait for the doctor to tell you X, Y, and Z. Like, put yourself in a good position earlier on, so that day doesn't necessarily arise. Like, and we're all hypocrites to that, because I still go up on a piss up one day, and like, it is what it is. But it's like, within moderation,
sure,
give yourself the chance to make the most of every opportunity that arises.
Absolutely.
But no, that's good. It's good.
One thing I want to add to that as well is, if I hadn't started, this is an example, right? If I hadn't started the Nurture Network this year, I wouldn't have been invited to this podcast.
There wouldn't have been a mutual engagement.
Exactly.
Saying that.
I mean, there could have been.
Yeah.
But it could have. I might have not had the opportunity to actually come on and meet you.
Oh, for sure. I haven't brought you on. I'll say it right now.
Yeah.
The fact that you have a podcast, it's more of I think me seeing what you were trying to build or release at the time, I was like, you know what? He's very well spoken. It seems like he's got a good heart in a good place and possibly is looking for that opportunity. Let me just ask him. If he could say no, all right, well, fuck him then. If he says no, it's not
But
it's what it is. But
exactly.
it's and if he doesn't, sick. Let's have some fun.
Yeah,
Let's chat.
for sure. I think it's a great. I mean, not everything that you start isn't. I think it rewards you in different ways. Like
Exactly.
I've now had opportunities, even at work. I have people. My manager listened to my podcast the other day and was like, "That gives me opportunities at work."
Yeah.
People are now asking me like, "Oh, maybe you can do like a podcast for work."
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't put myself out there and actually started. Like, people are wanting to come onto the podcast, which is absolutely amazing.
there you go.
Things start to happen, once you start, once you actually do that, that first step.
Once you take action, things will fall into place. Like one of the things I've been trying to manifest for a while now, and it's been a bit more in here. Maybe not me taking action, but it's since. Are you a football fan?
Oh, I love it.
Who do you support?
Arsenal.
Fuck's sakes. For fuck's sakes. I don't even want to get into football.
Shall I leave now?
Nah, you're good. Fuck's sakes. So I'm a Man United fan, right? After Fergie left, we capitulated. And I think over the years, obviously then slowly getting into coaching, like, let me take it back a little bit. When I was at BDO in accounting, I always said, like, I'd love to do some sort of motivational speaking or speeches or something like that, like get into that space. And I had a few of my friends said, bro, you're really good at it. You should really do it. This is why we call you Uncle P. And so like Uncle P then came out of that, and there we go. And I always said to myself, I would really love to like work with footballers. The dream would be to possibly work with Man United, go there and just have a talk. Just sit with the players and
That'd
just
be
be
cool.
like, fellas, I don't know. Look, the manager tells you one thing, this person tells you the other, the sports psychologist, this, that, and the other. I've not got the accreditation to be able to jump into that field, but if I could get Marcus Rashford down in the room or sat opposite me right now and just ask him questions that I ask my clients in regards to what he really wants, what's going on behind the scenes, and how he could transfer that to perform even better on the pitch, or fuck that. Take what you're putting on the pitch but into your personal life, because clearly we could do one thing great. I would thrive off that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That would
and
be.
so when we say what we're actually trying to do right now in terms of manifesting, like you got to take action.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I've done it a few times. I haven't followed up on it, but I messaged them on Instagram. I'll drop like Luke Shaw a message to be like, mate, keep your head up. Don't read any of my tweets because I possibly have slated you in the past or whoever. But ignore the comments, mate. If you ever need anyone to speak to, it looks like you're down right now. Randomly, I've just thrown it out.
Why not?
It's so weird. Bro, you're sad. I don't give a shit. But if that opportunity got taken to a new level where, let's say it was a London club or someone abroad or championship side, whatever it is, I would thrive off that. That'd be mad. That's a stepping stone.
100%.
It's like when you see barbers cutting all of these hairs for
Yeah.
bro, they were never doing that, but an opportunity came, they smashed it, and now they've got a whole clientele.
Exactly. Carry on DMing, man.
Honestly,
Who knows, bro? Like, honestly.
mad. No, but it's the concept I have with this pod as well. Like, there are some people I would definitely want to bring on, and I've told myself, fuck it, take the no's. If someone says no to me, that's fine. I don't care. There may be a reason why they can't.
Yeah.
But it's all part of that process of making every opportunity count, because I'd hate to think in a year's time, shit, they really wanted to be on, but now they've got 1 million followers. They're definitely never going to find the time.
Yeah. It's the concept of like, you're not going to lose anything, but imagine what you could gain.
Yeah, of course. And it's always, stop thinking of the worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
It's one thing I get my clients thinking about all the time. Stop thinking about what if this happens, that happens. Start thinking about, okay, best case scenario is this. Not worst case, best case scenario. Best case scenario of that guy that you want to go on a date with says no. What's the best case scenario? I save time. There we go.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, he says yes. Well, I guess I get to go on the date. Stop thinking about it as in what possibly won't happen.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one.
I feel you. But no, that's why more people need to try. That's what it's all about. I think it's just really just trying to do, and you can ease yourself into it. It doesn't need to be like massive decisions.
Yeah.
Just small things.
Yeah.
So,
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps, and you'll be surprised by how much progress you can make
For sure.
by those baby steps. 100%.
So what baby steps are we taking with dance this year?
Oh, well, I already have. So one thing I did say to myself last year, my goal was to really try and pursue things outside of work that I'm passionate about. Not necessarily to kind of, not monetarily, but on a personal level to enjoy life more. And part of that was starting the podcast because that's something I'm passionate about. And the other thing was collaborating with other dancers. I've only collaborated twice, and I did that this year. And I plan to collaborate with someone new every month.
Yeah.
So that is a baby step. I said, I'm going to start dancing with people.
Is that just on the streets, like casually do?
Yeah. So I've followed lots of dancers, for years. So all I did is I started messaging them. I say, hey, listen, I'm just trying to start, dancing with us. I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
It'd be great to dance together.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And maybe before I was like, they're not going to want to dance with me. And I did the classic mistake, things that I say, for people not to do. I wasn't really preaching my own advice. I was seeing someone with over 100K followers on Instagram. They're not going to want to dance with me.
Yeah.
But I've been following their content. They knew they actually did know who I was. I reached out and they were like, yeah, let's do a dance.
People actually are normal.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this mind game is playing on you.
There are sometimes arseholes out there.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Who are, do you think they're too...
Yeah.
We'll leave that there. But like, no, people are nice, and it's generally just taking that courage. Again, taking action.
Yeah. So that's the baby step I took with dance.
Best case scenario, if they say no, they're busy. Can we do it next month?
That's what's happened. That's what's happened. And already that's opening more doors for me in the dance realm, slowly but surely, because, now I made a friend from it who's invited me to a studio in London to go and do like Bollywood classes, like on Mondays, and I've, just not to like teach, but to actually just go there and participate. You meet people.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm going to be doing more collaborations with people simply by just starting one.
Yeah.
Because you tap into other audiences and whatnot. So right now I'm enjoying it. I have no idea what will come from it, but I don't really. I'm just focusing on having fun right now with dance.
With that, I kind of wanted to like ask you something, slightly going away from it, but with dance, I know there's a passion behind it. With the pod, there's a passion behind it, but there's an element of trying to build content and sharing that on your socials, etc. How do you feel when, let's say, a piece of content doesn't deliver?
Listen, it's of course, like right now, I really before I used to really read into that a lot, like, because you invest a lot of time into making videos and editing, days, like sometimes hours, but the kind of mindset switch I've had on that, I would say, in the last couple of years is actually, if I'm, and I genuinely mean this when I say it, if there's one person that has enjoyed my piece of content and has reached out to me and said, oh, that was really good, that's really helped me today, I've done my job. I've done my job. Listen, I'm not going to be naive and say, of course, the more people I reach, it'd be great for my own personal brand and perhaps, build a business from something one day, but it's not my end all be all, I have other projects. I think that's the mindset that I'm taking with it. It's really easy. I feel like it's harder to start dealing with that when you actually start growing. Yeah. Because then it does become
like, why the fuck is this not?
It's like, I need the numbers to grow now, and I think everybody probably experiences that. 100%. I still, I'm like, God, she's grown so much. Why is mine not? And then I have to just say, actually,
I hear you.
That's not let's not fall into that trap.
For me, that was me once upon a time where when I first started using social media, I'd post every now and then, but it would be me with a Drake lyric underneath. Like it's okay, all right, fine. Just because this is going to give you a bunch of likes and people are going to find it hot or sick or whatever, like sick, fine. And then when I started getting into this like motivational space, like even now, sometimes I overthink like, fuck, is this going to do well or not kind of stuff. And I'm trying to switch that off and just post.
Yeah, get the content out there.
But there were times where I used to like question and say to myself, I'm just going to post a photo right now because I know this is going to engage well and get more likes in.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized by doing that, I was getting less DMs, well, if anything, once I started changing up my content again to be more coaching orientated, more motivational orientated, more unfiltered, my coaching practice took up. It went up a lot higher. So I was getting more clients in, I was getting more conversations in. I then was able to find more guests for the podcast.
Yes.
And it's like, well, fuck there's an element of caring what people think, but like, fuck the actual dopamine satisfaction you get from a number of likes, views. Like it's just a number. And there is an element of following the numbers, and
of course,
if that's what you're trying to do in terms of building. But if you're just trying to be authentic and real and trying, like, for me personally, that's what I started realizing. I couldn't give a shit. And the only reason why I asked that is because, like, I know your dances, if I had to look at it, possibly take a lot of time to, 1, organize, 2, find the track, 3, learn the routine, 4, record it, 5, edit, 6, crop it even more. If you're going to throw captions, whatever it is, okay, 7, and then actually post it to possibly not get the engagement you think that deserves versus, let's say, a video where you're just sat in front of a computer screen, off the cuff.
Yeah.
It could be quite...
and that's where loving the process matters.
Exactly. Glad you said it.
You know, I do dance videos because I love to dance, man.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it takes time to put the camera up. There's days like, you know, where if I don't want to dance, I won't dance. It's not like I need to get a video out because...
Oh, no, but that's the mentality for some people.
I know, exactly. And like, of course, there are elements of that.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't post my podcast last 2 weeks ago because
Don't stress about it.
Don't stress about it because like that happens. And I was like, okay, that's true. Like life happens. I don't need to just post the pod for the sake of posting one and like where you just reduce your quality. Like that stuff matters. But like loving the process, like with dancing, it takes some time, you know. I've got into a rhythm of now actually where it's not that time consuming for me to do it. Yeah. But I think I pride myself at the moment on not having fallen into that trap too much of like, you know, looking at the views and the likes. Like, you know, it's just I do it because I really enjoy it and some other people enjoy watching it too. Like that's the way I see it today.
No, 100%. And it's I think what you said there, enjoying the process, because I know we've just swayed off completely off tangent in regards to what we initially.
It's still all relevant. But
it's an interesting one because it was something I had to try and tell myself. My coach called me up on it and he said, Pri, I'm not going to lie, you're possibly spending a lot of time drafting what you want to say, doing all of the video stuff, etc. But you love coaching. You're not actually coaching right now. You love having these conversations. You're not speaking to anyone. You're speaking to yourself in front of a camera. And you're cropping and you're editing and you're delaying. Like, fucking start changing it up a little bit where the stuff you love doing can start to take place a bit more rather than swaying down another way where it's just not adding any value. So I realized, stop caring what people think. If you've got a video, it's ready, post, cool. If it's got a spelling mistake, it's only normal. You know, if you say something completely stupid, we all do. We all say things, and I'm unfiltered, so fuck it. I do it all the time. Yeah. Just don't stress that much about this shit, bro. Just get over it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, man, like the problem with this, it's great, but it's also a problem in the sense that with this generation think that with everything you do, there needs to be a way of monetizing, and you have to make it like online or whatever. Whereas they forget the process of actually enjoying, you know, what it is you're doing. If you enjoy something, then do it. At least you're still pursuing like something that makes you happy. If you're not doing that, then you're neglecting part of what would you be doing otherwise. You'd just be sitting around doing nothing.
If we look at the social media concept, like Instagram when it first came out, when I was first using it, I'd post a photo of me just with books out or something, and was hashtags.
Yeah.
And that slowly developed. Right now, so we can have comments, you can see the likes. Now we got videos, reels, stuff like that. What's TikTok for? Something you just scroll on. And now you've got ads where you could possibly want to buy something, etc. But the concept of these apps are meant to be, well, now they've changed from what it was. It was an art gallery before, now being something you just swipe through. What's it going to be by the end of this year? And like I can already see it right now on my Instagram. It's so bad the way the algorithm works. I don't see half the shit my friends post. I'm seeing shit that I just don't find valuable. There was a point where memes used to be like,
I'd followed a lot of meme pages.
I'm like, I don't want to see this. I want to see what my friends are up to. I want to support in a certain way. And it's like, I feel like you have to take out the whole concept of likes and engagement being the ultimate be all and end all.
If you start going down that route, then you're already losing.
Yeah, because it's like one thing my coach said to me is that it's so on point. You post something right now, scroll down on Instagram, let the button refresh, disappears. How far do you need to scroll down to find it again? Content gets swallowed up so quickly. Why are we actually stressing so much right now and it looking perfect when it can go just like that? People possibly only see your stuff right now on your stories rather than actually on their main feed.
Yeah. So true.
We're worried about... I don't know how we ended up talking about socials.
It's always a conversation that pops up now, to be honest, because it's a massive part of our lives.
Yeah.
Most conversations do find themselves like going there, so it's only natural.
This is the first conversation I've had on the pod, I think, in a while where we haven't touched into dating.
Not much there. I'm joking.
Oh no, it always comes up, but I'm glad we've been able to sway away from it. But bro, it's been a big pleasure bringing you through. I've loved our conversation. I think definitely could keep waffling on about anything and everything, and hopefully in the future we'll get you back in here again and see see if anything that's come from today has come into fruition. I don't know. You might be I'm a bit busy. I'm on tour right now. I don't know. But any other plugs you want to send in right now for the people to reach out to you and how they can find you?
Firstly, I just want to say thank you so much, Pri, for inviting me on to Unfiltered. I think what you're doing here is really amazing. I know the grind it takes in terms of getting this set up, finding guests, editing, and being on that sort of podcast journey. So I respect it a lot.
Yep.
I've definitely learnt a few things today for myself, which I'll consult with you afterwards. But no, you really helped me unlock kind of some things that I probably need to tap into and think about a bit more, to be fair. And in terms of you guys who are listening today, my socials are I'm sure I'll send them to Priya so he can put them into the description. It'd be great if you come follow the Nurture Network. The Nurture Network is all about inspiring you guys to, take that leap of faith and start doing the things that you really want to do, but perhaps have put off previously because you're lacking that self-belief and judgment. And we get some really good guests on there too. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting me on. And it's been a really good experience being in the studio and being invited to my first podcast.
No, mate, it's all good. It's all good. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I like the fact that I got to challenge you and like grill you a little bit,
Yeah.
so slightly.
It's the first time I've been challenged like that.
Oh,
so.
I did give you that warning that I'm gonna try to, but
Yeah.
it couldn't wait. It had to come out. So
Of course.
I appreciate that, bro. Guys, again, Nurture Network, give that a shout. And honestly, for Neelesh and what he's doing, and we spoke a lot about dance. See this boy move his hips because they don't lie. He actually he's doing bits behind the scenes, and he puts a lot of time and effort into it. So yeah, follow him. I'm gonna put his in the captions, and hopefully, if this whole video thing works, in the video here right now, we'll get his and all that coming through. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome stuff, man.
Love, thanks.
Thank
See in a
you.
bit.